I think today is very special. We have discussed with the security strategy under the global risk. Before my presentation, if I ask the question, what is the biggest risk in 2021 or 2022? What is the biggest risk for your organization, for your country? And what is the biggest risk for you? What do you think? I think most of the view is not easy to answer clearly, right? Yeah, because I think the biggest risk for us is we don't know what is our biggest risk. What is our risk? Yeah, this is not true because the global is facing on uncertainty and unexperienced situation. So I think how to define our strategy to protect our business, protect our assets is very important. I think circular economy is very useful information. So if you would like to understand the future management trend, I will encourage you to visit BSI office. You will find a lot of useful information and standard, including the corporate governance, including the risk management and information security. Okay, so today my agenda will include, first I would like to introduce the BSI, which is standard. It's one of the international standard organization, and the headquarters in London. And then I will share you a very important global risk report, the WEF Global Risk Report, every year published in January. I reviewed this report for more than 10 years. It's very, very useful. And then I will introduce BSI 8001, the international standard as a Taiwan Sugar Cooperative Nation. This is the first international standard for circular economy. And I remember the Donghai form already got the certificate. So well done. And this standard includes very important concept. It's very systematic thinking. So I think this is very good methodology in this standard. And then I will introduce the 6 principles of the circular economy. And finally, I will introduce the 8th stage, the flexible framework to support organization to implement the circular economy system. And BSI is a well-known international standard organization, the headquarters in London, and founded in 1901. And every year publish more than 2,500 standards. It's a huge standard level every year. So, for example, in Taiwan, most of the organizations adopt some standard. For example, ISO 9001, quality management system. So actually, this standard was published, I think, 40 years ago already. And the 40,001 environmental management system, and ISO 27001 information security management system. You can see a lot of very popular and famous standards around us. So every year you can get a lot of information from BSI. And in terms of global risk report, I highly recommend the WEF global risk report. This report launched in January every year. This report used a very simple methodology. The global risk report divided all risk into 5 categories. The first category is green. That means environmental risk. The very high likelihood and very high consequence. is in the right out column is the biggest risk. I put the 2020 and the 2021 global risk report to make it very easy to compare with the risk the movement. That's with very useful skill. You can see the environmental risk, including the climate action failure, extreme weather, and this one is biodiversity loss. Yeah, I think you know when the Earth's temperature increase 1.5 degree, it's around 20% the biodiversity will occur. Yeah, so this is very important risk here. And the natural disaster and the human environmental disaster. So this is the first time all top 5 risks all belong to the environmental risk. So that means the Earth is facing very big challenges at this moment. The second one is the purple area. This is we call technology risk. Only 3. The number 1 is cyber security, cyber attack. Yeah, you know what kind of attack in Taiwan is the biggest challenge, biggest issue for cybersecurity news. Yeah, ransomware. Yeah. Ransomware by social engineering method to send an email, and you open this email, you will get the virus. And the DDoS, yeah, deny your service. So this is very terrible because we know the advancement of technology development, but also bring a lot of risk for us. Yeah. The second one is the data fraud. You know the data including our business secret and personal information. So the privacy issue and the fraud issue is getting worse for us. And the third one is information infrastructure breakdown. That means we rely on the very important infrastructure, including water, energy, electricity, network, telecommunication. So you know the information war will focus on the key information infrastructure, especially the strong cyber attack capability all belong to the China, Russia, and North Korea. Yeah, so this is very terrible for us. And the rest of 3 categories. The blue one is economic risk, such as physical disaster, asset bubble, yeah, unemployment. Yeah. This is economic risk. And the orange is social risk, such as the few children, the aging society, and the food disaster, something like that. And the amber is geopolitical risk, such as the trade war between USA and China. Yeah. The WEF told us last 3 category risks already combined together. Yeah, very rely on each other. So it's very terrible. I would like to share you my experience. You remember the 2008, the financial disaster, and the later year, you can see the top risk all belong to group. So if every year, if you check the global risk report, when the group move forward to the upright side, that means the economic situation is not very well. You have to very carefully to avoid the invoice protect your asset, protect your money, protect your business. Yeah. So let's see the 2021. Unfortunately, the top risk still green, environmental risk. Is very similar to 2020. But here, increase new infections in disease. I think this is COVID-19. But I don't worry about this because from the past experience, if suddenly appear new risk, sometimes will disappear very soon. so I have confidence maybe from next year we will be more safe than now. And for you see that this is technical risk. You remember the 2020, the number one is cyber attack. But for 2021, it's become cyber security failure. That means we cannot protect our cyber security very well. So this is very terrible for us. The second area, you remember that in 2020 we have data fraud, the risk, but in 2021, all data, tons of data, turned into digital. So we have two risks related with digital. The first one is digital power concentration. That means some country, the digital power is very strong, but the business is the stronger is getting stronger. So, but the worse is getting worse. Yeah, so you can see why the USA will defend the China very aggressive because the digital power concentration is a new risk. And this one is the digital inequality. It's similar to this one. I think the stronger is getting stronger. Yeah, so let's keep in mind. And this is same as 2020. It's IT infrastructure breakdown. Yeah. So it's still very challenging for us. And you can see the rest of the three categories: the economic risk, the social risk, and the geopolitical risk is still combined together. From this year, you have very carefully. We will be facing a new risk, debt crisis, because most of the country, just like the USA, the QE, spend a lot of money. So this will become the debt crisis. And due to COVID-19, a lot of industry impacted a lot, such as airline industry and the travel agency. So we are post livelihood crisis. A lot of the people lost the job, lost the revenue, lost the income. Yeah, so we have very carefully for the future development. So in terms of a time frame, I will very easy to let you understand the trend, the critical threat to the world for coming 2 years. I think that this will be social impact, including the employment and the livelihood disaster, digital inequality. So this is very easy to understand for coming 2 years what the risk we will be facing. And for coming 3 to 5 years, will become economic risk, from social impact to economic risk. Very important is asset bubble. You know the house pricing is increased very incredible. Yeah, but for coming 3 to 5 years, global risk report tells us be careful. The asset bubble will come, and the pricing instability, such as raw material, such as the stock, something like that. Yeah. So, you see the every country 股市都很高，要小心。Global risk report mentioned this many times for coming 3 to 5 years. But this is not the worst case. The worst case is for the coming 5 to 10 years. We will lose the biodiversity, the natural resources, and the climate action failure. That means this will change from the social impact to economic impact to environmental impact. So very important is this year, 2030. It's only 10 years forward. It's a very critical year. Why I say 2030 is a very critical year. I will show you what is our impact in the 2030. In terms of different areas, the first one I would like to share is the technology sustainability. This is a very promising growth area. You know, 2030, we will enter the 6G era. You know, at this moment we just start from 5G, but every 10 years we'll enter to next generation very fast. The technology is incredible area. And the auto driving, self-driving car will enter level 5. This year is level 3. Level 3, that means we need the driver to control the car. But after 5 years, we will become the level 4. Level 4 means we don't need the driver, but we still have the control mechanism for car. But in 2030, we'll enter the level 5. That means we no longer need the driver. So this is very experienced situation for us. And the new energy or renewable energy vehicle will account for 20%. You can see the Tesla, the Apple car, and the Volkswagen, the NIH. Yeah, so I have confidence maybe we can exceed that number. And AI service robot were very mature. You know, 5 years ago, BSI published a data for AI for robot. The standard is for the robot ASIC. To ask the developer, when you develop the AI technology, you will be very careful to manage the robot, very careful to avoid the robot damages the human. Yeah, so very interesting for this. So I think at the main time we don't need the girlfriend. We just need a robot, yeah, to make us happy. So my focus is that the technology sustainable is very promising. So if you would like to invest in technology industry, I think that's okay. In coming 10 years, it's very good. But for environmental, I think this is very challenging. You know, the UN IPCC organization report shows 2030 will be the end of global warming. That means the global will increase temperature, achieve the 1.5 degree. We cannot control very well. And you know the UN SDGs defines 17 objectives. If you look at the next 17 objectives, you can see the daylight. All will by 2030. You have to achieve that objective. Otherwise, we cannot have a future. And net zero, this is a very hot topic. That means the global net carbon emission must be reduced to 45% of 2010 by 2030. You have the confidence we can achieve. I think never achieve from Tokyo agreement to Paris assignment. Never achieve. So, but we hope so. So we need to adopt some action immediately to improve this, or otherwise we cannot achieve the net zero target by 2050. And but the government and our client, we are as the supply chain to fulfill the requirement. So you can see Apple require all suppliers have to use the 100% renewable energy before 2030. That's why the TSMC the purchase all the renewable energy in the future. So their terrible view, the environmental sustainability. So that's why I think 4 years ago, the BSI published a statement, BSI 8001, provide a framework for implementing the principle of circular economy in organization. In Taiwan, there are around 10 organizations that have been certified by this standard. So I have confidence that we can do more. We can do better than before. Yeah. Why we publish this standard? Because in the past experience, the linear economy, that means we take the raw material and production, next product, and then after use we dispose less waste. That means the linear economy will increase a lot of waste and loss of a lot of energy and material. So we needed to change the thinking and the approach from the linear economy to circular economy to make use and reuse, recycle a lot of methodology. Yeah. So this is very important part in this standard. For circular economy concept, before so we published the standard, I think most of the organizations it's difficult to have a good concept for the circular economy. So from my personal view, this standard is very logical and very provide a good, very systematic thinking approach. For example, the 7 concepts. The first one is performance economy. That means the sales performance rather than product. Just like the Taiwan Sugar mentioned, you don't need to get the ownership. You just use them and pay for ratio. And the second one is biomimicry. We learn from nature. This is a very important area. The next one is natural capital. Yeah, how to protect our resources from the nature. And this is industry, ecology, and symbiosis. And organization is waste and byproduction are raw material for another. That means my waste maybe can become the raw material for another organization. Yeah. This is a cradle to cradle and the regenerative design, the system renew and the regenerative energy and the blue economy. I will show you some example. You can see a lot of the clothing retailer change the business model from selling to rent the clothes. very quite good for us. And another example is I think very easy to understand. Philips, you know, Philips sell the LED lamps, but from many years ago, the Philips changed the business model to selling the light service, lighting as a service, the new business model, and signed a contract with the client. Client just needed to pay the lighting service fee, but all maintenance and the manufacturing by the Philips. And when we adopted this business model, you know, the Philips will make the product very strong. Extend the life cycle, so reduce the waste. And the incredible result is the client only have the client has been reduced by half the cost. Yeah, so this is win for client, win for service provider, and win for global. So it's not a win-win solution, it's a win-win-win solution. So I think this is highly useful for circular economy. This is one of the concepts. And the second area is this standard mentioned as the principle of the circular economy by 6 steps. The first one is understand your system-wide impact of activity, the systematic thinking. You know, in Taiwan, I think most of the organizations, when you adopt the circular economy program, always focus on one process. Lack of the systematic thinking through your whole organization. So I think the first step is to let you understand the interrelationship between your decision maker and your own process, own department. I think this is quite important. What is your input? What is your output? And then you can design your process. The second one is innovation. You rethink how to innovate your resources management and as to increase the value. And the third one is the stewardship. Stewardship means to take roles and responsibility, to assign the management team to follow, to focus the objective, and to take the responsibility. Yeah. And the collaboration. Yeah, when we implement the circular economy, you have to secure the system benefit, not only for ourselves, but also for the external partner. This is very important. Just like I think Taiwan Shield Corporation Company share a lot of very successful examples for us already. So collaboration is very important. And the value optimization is a value chain selection. We have to keep the material have the highest value and the function. Yeah, don't waste your resources. And then transparency, I think transparency is very key. You have to be very honest, very open to share the information, especially how to communicate with your organization or internal partner. To let everyone understand, the circular economy can bring us a lot of benefits. Yeah, otherwise no one will support with you. Yeah, so you will fail the circular economy, the program. So this is a sixth principle. I think very easy to understand, but just keep in mind this is very important principle. You can use the principle to review your program to see which part is not doing very well. The last one is this standard shows us the flexible framework. The first one is the framing. Framing doesn't mean you can start to design your structure, your organization, how to assign your roles and responsibility. What is your budget? What is your timeline? What is your strength and the resources? And then you can evaluate the scope. Which product, which process, which department you will involve in the circular economy. economy program. And then you can use the innovation process to collect any kind of idea, because circular economy have 7 concepts. Maybe you can choose the performance economy to fulfill your some program or some process, and combine all the concepts together to get the best approach. So idea to generation, and then you can evaluate the possibility and the feasibility, including the budget and the return and the timeline and how many resources you have. And then you can choose a case. Maybe you can choose an organization or a product to try run the business case, and to learn from the trial run, to accumulate some experience, and review. Just like the PDCA, you can check and to find some area could be improved, and then to complete repeat again, and monitor, review, and provide the improvement report and take some action to make sure your circular economy, the framework is very stable and very successful. So at the beginning, I mentioned we are facing the very huge risk, especially the environmental risk. So if we cannot do our best to adopt the immediate action, we cannot afford to set to leave the opportunity for next generation by 2030. So it's very important. Okay. Thank you for your listening.